Blog Talk Radio.
He is the last of his kind. All that remains of a once powerful nation. Some think he is a myth. Some believe he is the chosen one, who will bring balance to a world at war. And some will stop at nothing to destroy him.
Welcome, Moors and Moorish Talk Live 100. I'm your host, Tarhaka Black, and this evening we'll be dealing with a stolen creation that was recovered. The works of a beautiful sister by the name of Sophia Stewart. Okay, she is the one responsible for some mighty works. I'm going to let her tell you about that. She outright owned the rights to this. Let's get that part clearly understood first. We're not dealing with some sisters that just wrote a book and put some stuff out there and that's it. No, we're talking about somebody that owned the rights to their work. And we're going to give you a complete breakdown on this stuff. And she'll be our guest here this evening. And we'll be getting started shortly, okay? Sister Sophia Stewart will be our special guest this evening. All right? Y'all hold on for a second.
Now open a new alternative to you doing the cooking. Auntie's Home Cooking and Catering. Whether you're too tired to prepare dinner after a long day at work or you need to plan a special event, Auntie's Home Cooking and Catering is here for you. Located in beautiful Dallas, Texas, we specialize in providing delicious, healthy meals at an affordable price. Visit our website at www.auntieshomecookingandcatering.com or call Sharon Hunter or Felicia Camara at 469-206-6523 and let us do the cooking for you.
All right. Well, now, the sister Sharon Hunter Bay is out in the Dallas, Texas area. If you're in Dallas, Texas, or whatever event that you're going to do, if you're doing a wedding, if you're doing a baby shower, if you just got some special engagement that you want to do for your loved one and you want somebody to do a buffet thing for you, however you want it done, wedding reception, whatever it is, this sister, and they'll provide the necessary food stuff. If you go to her webpage, she has some beautiful displays for you to look at right over there. So make sure you make your way over there. If you're in the Dallas, Texas area, if you're in surrounding counties, they're right there to serve you. Okay? We're going to run a couple of more commercials, and then we be ready to go. Okay? So y'all hold your hat.
One of the best kept secrets in the country is learning how to formulate your own contracts and the use of such to eliminate your debt. Go to newdebtelimination.com. That's newdebtelimination.com. Or call me, Tarhaka, toll free, 877-647-2071.
Okay. Now, let me say something, brothers and sisters. Now, you all know I have a website, and I help people with their debt day in and day out. People got mortgages, they got student loan debts, they're dealing with credit card companies, jail, bail bonds, lawyers, judges, all day long. But I want to, and I have a disclaimer right there on my website. Prior to you getting anything that I have to offer, the disclaimer is right there for you to see. However, and I want to make it, and I want y'all to please understand what I got to say to you here. And this is, and I'm not trying to pick on anybody. What I got to say is nothing to be ashamed of, in my opinion, because there are a lot of circumstances surrounding things in people's lives that a lot of us don't know about. But I want to let you know now that if you cannot read, you can't spell. If you don't know how to read, you can't spell. If you cannot read and you cannot spell, you cannot comprehend and you don't have no understanding. So if you cannot read, and I know you might be in trouble with your debt and all that, but brothers and sisters, if you can't read and you can't spell, that's very little I can do to help you. I can't teach you how to read and spell to help you get out of debt at the same time. I don't have that kind of time. I want y'all to keep that in mind because I've run into this on more than one occasion with brothers and sisters that have absolutely no reading skills, no writing skills, no spelling skills, and I'm responsible for the fact that they can't comprehend and they can't get anything done. So either the paperwork is defective or I'm defective. And I want to put this out there. So if you have a problem, keep in mind if you don't know how to read, you don't know how to spell, you can't comprehend. There's no sense in going over there getting these documents and you can't read. You can't spell, you can't comprehend, you don't have any understanding. That makes my job very, very difficult. And I know for a fact there are brothers and sisters that I grew up with. There was a brother, he couldn't read, he couldn't write, and the kids were picking at him when we was growing up. But I didn't pick at the guy. I befriended him, guy played sports pretty good, so I liked him. I admired him and I respected him. But I found out he was in a home with an abusive parent. And, this guy's father would come in there, and, he just destroyed everything. And, the guy, he couldn't, he was afraid to even leave home to go to school. Staying there trying to watch his mama make sure he didn't kill her, hurt her. And there are other circumstances surrounding people's lives. So I just want you to know that I'm not picking on you, but you need to get these things taken care of. You can. They have quite a few places that's offering just basic education for free, reading, writing, and arithmetic. And once you learn how to read, you can comprehend. A lot of people tell me, it's easy for you. You exercise your freedom of right to travel. You eliminated your mortgage, and you used to doing this and stuff. But what you got to understand is, the main thing that I have to my disposal is I could read. I can read, I can write, I can spell, I can formulate articles, I can write posts, reading, writing, and arithmetic. Now, I hated math. I really did. I hated math and wasn't too crazy about English, but I had to get it. I had to know what I had to do. And we had a lot of upheavals in my house. But I was able to stop some of that stuff at an early age. But anyway, I just wanted to put that out to you. So if you got these problems, let's arrange our priorities properly, and let's get the reading, writing, and arithmetic straight. And then when you are ready to go, then holler at me and get this stuff because I can help you. I can show you where to put the pegs in the right block. I can show you where to go and how to file your stuff, how to get it certified, how to communicate with the people, how to handle yourself, and what to say about this, that, and the other. But if you can't read, you're pretty much stuck. And if I don't know it, you can't blame me, because I'm here to help you. I do this every day, all day long. nevertheless, that's enough about that. And let me give you a little brief on Sister Sophia Stewart. 1986, Mrs. Stewart answered a magazine advertisement for a science fiction script that the Wachowski brothers were going to make into a comic book. Years later, Mrs. Stewart contends her version hit the movie screens in 1931, in March 31st, 1999, in the form of The Matrix. In the fact, the Wachowski brothers used a verbatim quote from a book to introduce the film, which was later removed after an FBI investigation into the criminal copyright infringement was initiated. And that's all I'm going to do on that, because I want the sister to come in and lay it out for us herself. She's the author of what later most of us understand the movie The Terminator. She's the writer of the original work, and she owned it. The Matrix that later came out, she wrote that. She owned that. Okay? There's a difference. I'm going to let her explain that to you, and I'm going to bring in my guest now. Eric Cole.
Yes, hi.
Too. Hey, sister, come on in.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you loud and clear. The switchboard is lit up.
Oh.
We're waiting on you.
Oh, thank you. Yes, hi, everyone. My name is Sophia Stewart, and I wrote The Matrix and Terminator, and I own the Matrix and Terminator franchise. It's been confirmed and validated by the federal courts of Utah. And I want everyone to know and let everyone else know. I want you guys to go out there and spread the word. And, of course, my website is www.matrixterminator.com. And my books are The Third Eye and Matrix 4 book, Matrix 4 movie coming soon.
All right.
And I'd like yeah.
Well, go ahead. Go ahead, sister. We listen.
Want to say that it didn't start in 1986. That was only with the Wachowskis. My journey actually started in 1981 while I was at USC Film School. I was shopping my work. I wrote this incredible work called The Third Eye, a science fiction script treatment in a book. And, of course, I was looking for George Lucas, the director over at 20th Century Fox. And I got a vice president, Susan Nesbeck, who saw my work, and, of course, later on took it to Gail Ann Hurd and James Cameron. And, of course, they took it, and the studios created or adapted my work into The Terminator, and then later on with the Wachowskis and Warner Brothers, The Matrix. But Warner Brothers was also involved in the theft of my work with 20th Century Fox executives in 1984 when The Terminator came out.
Well, let me ask you something. I know we're gonna get down into that, but what I want to know, and this is just a little question that I've been having in the back of my mind, because when I was a kid, I had an uncle, and this uncle, he had the first Superman book, the first Aquaman, the first Wonder Woman comic books, the first Batman. And I mean, he was a very clean-cut guy, and he kept his stuff in mint condition, and he kept it in a trunk in the house, and they put a lock on it, and he went off to the military. And they later would have been worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I asked my mom, I said, what did you do with the trunk? She said, I got tired of that old trunk. I threw it on the trash. I said, oh, my God.
Wait a minute, so the boy's mother threw out the first edition?
Yeah, my mama was her brother.
Yeah,
he had it full to the top with the first editions of everything in mint condition. Do you understand what I'm saying? Hundreds of thousands of dollars. And she took it.
I think it would have been a little bit more than hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, probably worth millions. But she took it and she threw it away and bought a metal cabinet and put in the place of it that she paid $19.95 for.
So what did the boy say when he came back, the man?
When he came back, he was looking for his stuff. But see, this was back in the 60s when these books first hit the stands. This was in the actual making of a creation of a multi-million-dollar idea. The real McCoy, the original copies of the Superman, Batman, that's worth millions. He came back. He asked where it was. She said, "Well, I got it out of here because it was taking up space, and I wanted to put my stuff over there." He said, "All right." Well, he didn't say anything much because back then we didn't know that they were going to be worth this kind of money later on. We didn't know.
Well, that's how it goes. You never know how much anything is going to be worth. My work made anywhere from $35 to $100 billion. So,
well, I know one thing. I got some bottles.
My IPs are worth billions of dollars.
Well, tell me something. What I really wanted to know, and this is just for me personally, when you were a little girl, what fascinated you the most? Because you entered this comic book contest. Were you just like fascinated with reading and writing, or did you like comic books, or what was life for you?
As a kid, I was reading comic books myself as a kid.
Okay.
I was just reading comic books. I mean, I think every kid loved comic books. But I'm a gifted visionary, a gifted seer, so I have a multitude of gifts. So I have a gift in writing. I can paint. I can draw, play, musical instrument, and compose. So I'm multi-gifted thing. So I just have this gift. And it comes from my grandmother. She was full-blooded Cherokee. So my mom used to take us to the movies. So I guess that's where it was first born, my love for movies. So when I went to film school, USC Film School, and I'm a New Yorker from New York, and I went to USC Film School, and I wanted to do metaphysical movies. That was unheard of. No one had ever done metaphysical movies on the screen, and that's what Matrix and Terminator, they're metaphysical movies with black superheroes. Growing up in New York, I was living in Harlem, used to go to the Apollo every weekend. And, of course, we had black exploitation movies there. And, of course, I wanted to create black superheroes so our kids could be inspired to become anything they want, including President of the United States. Mm-hmm. So I guess that's where it was really born in me, wanting to create black superheroes. And that's what Matrix has, black superheroes in leadership roles. And the white guys are the bad guys. And this is black artwork that you're looking at, and why 3 to 4 billion fans around the globe love Matrix and Terminator. It's not the white man saving the world.
Right.
In fact, the white people say they're sick of that. They want to see diversity. No, it's true. Yeah. I can send you the article where the whites say they're sick and tired of seeing the white man save the world. There are all kinds of people in the world and all kinds of color heroes.
Right.
And the great diversity, and that's what my work offered, great diversity, superheroes, and leadership roles. That gave you pride.
Well, it's done a great deal for us.
Did you see The Matrix? Excuse me?
No, I didn't see The Matrix because I do a lot of reading and research, and I saw little bits and pieces of it, but to sit down and just watch the whole thing all the way through, no, because I had been disenfranchised with the fact that every time I look around, I see the Caucasian on TV doing something that I know he stole. So I stopped watching. I don't watch TV anymore.
Oh, okay.
Me personally.
Well, that's understandable. I mean, everybody is going to the internet anyway. It's more news and, everything on the internet now. It's a big thing. And even more in the future, even more people are going to be going to the internet and digital downloading, and all of this stuff is going to be very, very phenomenal. Pay-per-view, streaming, more of Netflix, more of Redbox type of technology. But
I had a hard time.
You had a hard time what?
I had a hard time. I call myself selling movies. I had a hard time, and the people were buying the movies left and right. They say, "Well, what is it about? Did you see it yet?" I said, "Oh, no, I ain't. I don't know what it's about."
So you never even seen the Terminator either, right?
Oh, I saw the Terminator. I saw the Terminator, but I didn't get a chance to watch the Matrix. I saw the Terminator, but I didn't see the Matrix. Yeah, I enjoyed
Terminator
the
Terminator. Terminator is the prequels to the Matrix.
Oh,
Sarah Connor is Neo's mother. Sarah Connor is Neo's mother. In other words, John Connor's JC, Jesus Christ, grows up to be Neo in the Matrix, and Neo is just an anagram or a sneaky way of calling him the One. O-N-E-N-E, O-N-E-N-E-O. Neo, one and the same. I bet you're not familiar with that either, right?
Well, no, I didn't look at it that way. But what I would like to know is by doing that, what did you hope to gain out of putting that kind of information out?
Well, actually, I wrote the second coming of Christ, metaphorically, the evolutions of consciousness, man versus the machine. So what I wanted to get out of this work is to shift the consciousness of the people, to make them aware that nothing is as it appears to be, and that the machines had already enslaved you, and you had no idea. I'm talking about the Illuminati and the Masons, and I'm talking about alien technology, digital downloading barcodes, the computerized warfare with the drones. I'm talking about this in 1980 because I'm playing computer games in 1980 while I'm at USC Film School. And so what I wanted to do was shift people's consciousness and prepare them for the world that's coming. You see what I'm saying? So this work was preparing you for what's to come in the future, 15, 20 years up the road. Because you had no idea that it was going to be internet, computers, not the way they are in everybody's home, the way Bill Gates, wanted a computer in every home. Mm-hmm. So my work was actually to shift the consciousness of the people, and it really did that. It kind of woke you up and made you realize that, that you were pretty much programmed, and that programs were coming out of your mouth, and that you were basically robotic and a person of routine, and you were not even aware of it.
Well, now, what is the esoteric side of it? What's the esoteric side of this thing?
It's metaphysics. The esoterical part is numerology, that everything in our world is geared by frequencies, vibrations, energy. Metaphysics, meaning that there are no words. They are failed, and there are words that are going backwards, in other words, the chi should be flowing straight ahead, direct, but the chi is in a polarity mode, that everything is polar opposite, not duality. You've been duped, and you've been told that there were two things going on, and it's not. There's only one thing going on because there can only be one. There's one energy that's going forward, but man is taking it and spinning it in the opposite direction when he's doing something evil. You can take the word live, L-I-V-E, and I'm going forward, and life, that's life, going forward. And then when I want to do something evil, well, I'm going backwards, I'm spiraling down. And then the polar opposite of that word live is evil, E-V-I-L, but it's the same word. When it goes forward, it's L-I-V-E, but when it goes backwards, it's E-V-I-L, you know. And so that's what living a life, an evil life is, going backwards. So this is the esoterical things that you don't see, numerology, you know, that our world is nothing but numbers. Your birthday, your Social Security number, your house number, your license plate, in school, mathematics to create your house numbers, everything is math. Every alphabet is given a number. Radar, it's all numbers. And if you don't know math, you don't know numbers, you can't really create. Did you not know that? Every architect, every engineer is creating through mathematics. Every chemist, mathematics.
Mm-hmm.
That writing and reading and writing is not the most important thing. The most important thing is mathematics. And it wouldn't matter if you didn't know one word, but you couldn't read a book. If you understood math, you could do some of the most phenomenal things in the world. All scientists are going into the lab. It's mathematics. In fact, some of the geniuses, you know, didn't even understand too much of words and knowledge. You know, they understood math. Like when you look at Einstein, and you look at Freud, and you look at Tesla, and Da Vinci, and Nostradamus, these people were dealing in mathematics, like myself.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing taxes when I was 11 years old, getting paid as an entrepreneur, like the work you're doing right now, helping people and you're getting paid. Well, I was getting paid to do their taxes. They didn't know anything about math or taxes. So, and I was doing payroll when I was a teenager. You know, I was creating adults, their payroll checks. And I scored a 98 on the IRS exam. They wanted me to come and work for them. So being a creator, you had to know math. And this is what our whole world, esoterically, our whole world is of mathematics. And if you don't know math, you won't know anything. Period.
Well, I have to agree with that. Maybe I should have stayed in the first business we was in the first place, in the numbers racket.
Well, why do you think it's called gambling? I live in Vegas, and that's what you call gambling, the number racket. Later on, growing up in New York, I saw that firsthand. And later on, it all became the lottery, gambling, you know what I'm saying, lotto tickets. That's what it all became. But it used to be the number racket. The mobsters used to have it. And they would have couriers, and they would have people, you know, that memorized the numbers. Because if you were caught with the slips, you would end up going to jail.
Mm-hmm.
So you're right. Yeah. It was the number racket.
Oh, yeah. Well, I can tell you some stories about
that.
In
fact, some of the greatest drug dealers is some of the best businessmen. Look at Jay-Z. Jay-Z used to be, you know, a drug dealer. And look at him. He's a very phenomenal businessman.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the most phenomenal businessmen were drug dealers or number runners.
Well, sister, we're at the top of the broadcast, and I put your website in the because you have a beautiful website in the chat room. It's www.matrixterminator.com. That's www.matrixterminator.com. And could you tell us about your works and stuff that you're promoting now. And how did you manage to own your stuff? Give us the breakdown on that before we get down into the law side of this thing, because I know you were paralegal and you got those skills too. But I want to know about your current works and how you came to own this stuff.
That would be phenomenal. First of all, I'd like to tell people, go to my website, purchase the books, their memorabilia. I've made history. The first book is the Third Eye book, and of course Matrix 4 movie coming. Now Matrix 4 in the installment actually comes right behind Matrix 1 because I wrote the evolutions of consciousness. So I made 2 and 3 a bad dream. Trinity and Neo never died. That's right, you heard it right. They never died. They shared a dream together because they're soulmates. And 1111, the prompt numbers, wake them, and the saga continues. And Matrix 4 is about alien technology that's coming 15 to 20 years down the road. So Matrix 4 have eclipsed Matrix 1, and I have greater technology and CGI special effects and graphics that have never been seen on any screen ever, any movie screen. And I'm talking, you guys saw the Matrix Kia commercial during Super Bowl. 120 million people got to see the new Matrix work that comes out of my Matrix 4 book verbatimly, where Morpheus is in the car, and he starts the car with the Kia car up with the musical notes and voice recognition. Well, in the Matrix 4 book, it's actually Morpheus and Neo in the car, and the car starts up. It's the Matrix Sphinx car, which is new alien technology, and they're trying this new car out, and Morpheus and Neo is talking about it. It starts up with a musical note and voice recognition, and they're actually discussing how how he feels about riding in this new car, or new alien technology. And I'm also talking about alien ships, how they actually fly, how they're fueled, and some Homeland Security people and NASA scientists have been reading my Matrix 4 book, and they were just totally blown away and shocked. In fact, Homeland Security told me that I have solved the Roswell. I've actually solved the Roswell incident where these ships, they found these aliens, they died, and the government, have them, and they didn't know how these ships actually were fueled. They knew they were not fossil fuel, which is called gasoline, and they knew that they were not ran by any nuclear power pack. And so I explained in my Matrix 4 book these same ships, how they look, how they operate, were magnetic ring pulsion with magnets. I want you guys to check that out in the book. I'm going to go into great details, but enough to make you curious to pick up the book and start reading. But go ahead. You have a question you want to ask me?
Now, and this is some of the same type of technology that they used in regards to the pyramids and Coral Castle. The reversing of the poles of the energy and the magnetic energy pole shift to this would cause objects that weigh tons to float through the air.
Like a balloon, like a balloon. Because what you do is you reverse the polarity of the weight. This is all chemistry, and what happened is you reverse the weight. And so what you do is you lessen gravity, and this is what I'm showing. If people go to YouTube, they can see this on YouTube, the Kia Matrix commercials. It's the Kia Matrix 4 commercial. You can see it also on my website, truthaboutmatrix.com, and you can go on YouTube. And what happened is the ancient Egyptians would reverse the polarity of the elements, and that means they would reverse the gravity. And once the polarity is reversed, then heavy objects that weigh 2 tons can actually float like balloons, and then you can actually pick them up, set them on a truck, put it wherever you want. This is how the pyramids were actually built, and they had never understood the mysteries of that. And my work, I'm talking about the reversal of the polarity and the weight, and because these are elements, and people don't understand that we have the knowledge to do this, especially when you read in the Matrix. I mean, in my book, the Third Eye book, go into the section When the Gods Walk the Earth. I am talking about the reversal of the polarity of the elements, and I am talking about also the numbers and the frequencies and the energy. I'm breaking all this down, and how gravity will make things, cars, start floating up when you look in the Kia commercial. This is why all these cars are flying up and everything, because of the reversal of the polarity of the energy, all the objects' weight. But tell me, how did you know about that? How were you familiar about that?
Well, actually, I was born with certain gifts too, and I have the gift of extremely quick deduction. Because I've studied ancient culture a long time, and I know that the brain is extremely powerful. I have actually left the body twice, been to the Middle East, been to Rome, came back. So I know, and the scientists tell us, but we only use 10% of the brain. I said, well, that's because the other 90% is pure, raw, naked spiritual power, and we have to learn how to do that. So that's common sense for me. But they told us that the Egyptians built the pyramids. We can't even see where they cut the stones out. There's no way humanly possible for them to drag them, even with 10,000 men, and put them in place that way. And I said, well, the only thing they were doing, they was using 95% of the brain as a mass mind power. That's how they did it. They didn't use any tools.
Well, they didn't use their brains. They actually had computers and ancient alien technology. What you did when you went out of your body, that was astral traveling, and what you see in the Matrix, but you haven't seen the Matrix yet. But the ancient Egyptians, or the ancient gods that walked the earth, which I'm talking about in the Third Eye book, When the Gods Walk the Earth, these beings were three-dimensional beings. That's what people are seeing in the Matrix movie. You see the physical body in the ship, and you see the spiritual body, or the shadow body that looks exactly like the physical body, going up and down the telephone line and fighting with the agents. And the third body is the soul, the energy that animates the physical body. And when the little silver cord is severed at death, well, this energy goes back to the source that's called God. So this is why the three-dimensional beings. Now, matrix is a Latin word for the womb. And if you go into the King James's Bible, matrix is mentioned 5 times. And then when you go to Exodus 34th chapter, 19th verse, God says, he who opens up the matrix, and matrix is Latin for womb, meaning those who come out of the womb, born of a woman's womb, are his children. And these children are born three-dimensional. They're three-dimensional beings. They have a physical body, They have an astral body which can travel anywhere, which is a spiritual body, a spirit or shadow, which some people see sometimes and they think it's a ghost, but they don't even, they wouldn't know because they didn't know you were alive and had a physical body. And then the third body, which is the energy, that once the physical body is damaged or it dies, this energy goes back to the source. Now, in King James's Bible, they were talking about, that Christ was going to ascend, because Christ was one of these beings that you see in the Matrix, three-dimensional beings going to be into his 4D light body. He was going to ascend into this fourth-dimensional light body. Now, when the Christ body dies, they put him in this cocoon, which is a tomb or a cave for 3 days. And after the third day, he arisen, but he arisen in his fourth-dimensional light body. And so when his disciples and Mary Magdalene and Mary, they saw him, they recognized his soul because they looked in his eyes and they saw his soul and they saw him. But his body had already transformed, or had already gone through evolution or transformation. And this is what happens with Neo in the Matrix. He goes and this cleansing, he goes through the baptismal or the water, blood, and spirit. He goes through the pods. His human side dies, and he's reborn. And the energy of the eye of the third eye being the eye of God, because on earth we have two eyes, but then there is a all-seeing, all-knowing, all-powerful eye, and that is the eye of God. And this energy comes inside of him and transforms him, and he goes through evolution, a transformation, and now he's gone through a fourth-dimensional change in a light body. Now he's flying, but he's not Superman. And he's levitating. He's levitating, he's hovering, but he's able to transcend time, and he's able to touch the mirror and go into other dimensions or the void. He's able to reverse the polarity of energy, because when he jumps into Agent Smith's body, he blows him up, because the positive going into a negative actually blows it up. And where a positive goes through the body of Neo, in the reverse, you walk through his body, those who have died, now they have gone to arisen. They have gone to rebirth. They have been reborn, because it's the reversal of the polarity. And this is where you see the negative and the positive, because on the car battery, there's no two energy going on. There's no two energies driving that car or propelling that car. It's not a negative energy and a positive energy. The negative energy and the positive energy, they're one. And if you reverse the polarity of that energy to the negative, it's going to burn that car down. But when it's going in the right direction, which is positive, the car is going to be fine and it drives and it takes you everywhere. Well, this is the same thing with the energy that's out here. And we're at home and we have electricity. And that energy we can cook electrically with our food. Now, as long as we're using that electricity positively, then we're going to be fine. It cooks our food, it keeps us warm, the whole 9 yards. But when we reverse the polarity of that energy, it burns our food up, it burns our house up, and it'll burn you up. It'll kill you. But it's not two energies. We can't cut it in half and take the good and keep the good and throw away the bad.
Nope.
It's the same energy that's running inside of us. We have the good and the bad, or the negative and the positive. And what you have to do is balance out. And this is where God comes in. God comes in and he offers the balance. He balanced out that energy. That way, not too much positive is going on, or not too much negativity going on. In other words, if you just give, and you never receive, then you're violating the law. That's right, you're violating the law where balance has to come in. And if you're just taking, or just stealing, and you're not giving anything back, then balance has to come in and take over and stop you. In other words, when the dinosaurs were upon the earth, they were just eating upon the earth. And you just can't come on the earth and just eat everything up. That's not going to happen. You have to leave. You have to leave the earth, because the earth, everything has to balance. So if you're giving out too much positiveness and you're not receiving, and you're just taking and you're not giving, then you have to leave. That's why nothing is going on here but people, bodies, or people coming in, and what is called birth, and people leaving, Xing out of this dimension Earth, and which you call death. That's right. And it has a perfect balance. It doesn't need anybody to start wars. It doesn't need anybody to create diseases and eliminate people. It doesn't need man to play God. Man needs to stop all this lies and fears and ignorance, telling people that, oh, you're going to run out of water, you need to kill somebody. We need to start a war. We're running out of gas. We're running out of oil. We're running out of gold. We're running out of land. All of this is lies. Everything is ran by precision. Just like water is drying up. Some water actually, Takahara, is popping up in your backyard. A new well is born. A new spring is born. A new river is being born. A new ocean is being birthed. A new sea. So all of this stuff, these lies are manufactured, and all these programs and all this ignorance and all these labels that put fear in you so you could do things out of fear, ignorance. Well, people are going to get all the jobs. People are going to get all the money. We're not going to have any more money. And I said, no, you're going to have some more money. It's just going to be another form of money. If you go back 1,000 years ago, spices was money. That's right, spices. And barter.
Oh, yeah.
And horses.
That's right.
And furs. Then gold came in. And then, I told people, well, not to worry. Maybe it might be rocks. Rocks may take the place of paper. Then you got to go and gather up all the rocks before everybody get them.
Yeah.
Because
water.
When one thing collapses, another thing takes its place that's greater. In other words, people didn't want the horse and buggies to leave when they saw the cars.
Right.
But then the cars were greater. And then of course, the buses were born, and then the train was born, and then the plane was born, the plane. But everything was greater than the thing before. But everybody was afraid. They said, the world is coming to an end. And yeah, the world is coming to an end, the world that you used to know. That old world that is no longer needed because time is speeded up, and so that's too slow motion. You don't have time to get in a horse and buggy. You need to get in the car. You don't have time for the car. You need to get on the bus. You don't have time for the bus. You need to get in the train. You don't have time for the train. You need to catch the plane, because everything is greater and it's speeding up. And so the world that you used to know 100 years ago no longer exists. And time is speeding so fast that new things and new technology and hologram and the holographic world is coming fast upon us. And this is what I'm showing in Matrix 4, the new world that's coming 15 to 20 years down the road, the new penal system, the jails and buildings and TV, the way you experience it, and movies, it's not going to be the same. We're going to have virtual movie theaters. That's right, virtual movie theaters where you'll buy your ticket, download your ticket, and you might watch your movie from 5 billion mobile devices. And these 5 billion mobile devices, we're talking about tablets, pencil thin 6x9 with phones on them. Now when you touch the screen, it's your phone, it's your school, it's your video games, and it's your music, your iPod, it's your television. You can download your favorite movie, or you can do pay-per-view streaming, HD, and watch your favorite movie just out of the virtual theater. You'll go to Sophia's Matrix Virtual Movie Theater and purchase your ticket so I can stream Matrix 4 for you that one time, and you pay $10. And then there's 5 billion mobile devices. So we're talking about astronomical money instantly, just like Beyonce found out when she downloaded one of her songs on with iTunes, Apple, and got 800,000 hits instantly and almost crashed the server. But we're talking about in the millions of downloads. And that everybody needs to get ready and get your job on the Internet, because these buildings and the business that we used to know, all of these things are changing. We don't need these things anymore. We're coming closer to a holographic world where things are going to be instantly downloaded, where you're going to be able to go to a store, and we're living in a cashless society where you'll go in the store, and when you pick up something and put it in your basket, you don't have to pay any money. Your money is already in your account. And as soon as it's all these scanners everywhere in the store, all in the ceiling. We have cameras. We have like Google Earth, satellite. We have all these cameras. So when you pick up an item, it scans and put in your basket or put in your purse or put in your mouth. You're eating it. It scans. Then when you leave out of the store, the security guard will just hand you your receipt. Your account has already been debited. We're talking about a world where you're in your car and they got motion sensors all on the freeways and highways and streets. So anytime you run a red light or you violate anything or run over somebody or, God forbid, or do any kind of traffic violation, your neighborhood cops will appear and they will pull you over, get your license, your driving license, which has all of your DNA and your information. It has all of your information. It's like a credit card now with all your information. It's a microchip in there, and it's like a swipe. And so they just take it back to their car and swipe it, and out of the little box, which is a little computer, just like when you go to gamble here in Vegas, you get your receipt out of the slot machine, and you go take it and cash it in. Well, this little slip will fall out, and it'll be your receipt. Your account has already been debited $100 or $300, and then the cop bring you your receipt and your license to you, and you don't have to go to court anymore. No,
well, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Now, sister, we're going down to the bottom of the first hour, and I'm going to open up the phone lines. But let me ask you this. Now, based on what you're describing for us, in your opinion, how much power and freedom will the masses have without the authorities outside of the technology, in your opinion?
Well, my opinion from what I saw in the future, and this is what the Matrix and Terminator is, the future, and I'm describing more of it. The answer to that question is in Matrix 4 book. I don't want to give that out because the answer to what's going to happen to you, this is why Matrix 4 is called Matrix 4 Evolution, Cracking the Genetic Codes. Mm-hmm. It actually tells you what happens in the future, what happens when you break those codes, and how you're preserved, how you're able to beat all odds, even evil. But you got to get the book to read it. But yes, the answer is revealed.
Okay, and this is the masses. And the reason I'm asking stuff here is because I personally enjoy certain freedoms without driver's license, registrations, anybody stopping me. I'm responsible. I enjoy my home minus a mortgage. And to me, I enjoy that. And so I was just wondering, about the technology side and stuff. But anyway, what I would like to do at this point is we can open up the lines, and if anybody out there have a question for the sister, matter of fact, we got a question right here. Area code 706. Tell me who you are. I'm sorry. Oh, okay. Well, they popped off. If anybody got a question or comment for the sister, now's the time to raise your hand. The number to dial into the broadcast is 310-982-4184. That's 310-982-4184. And the sister will be more than happy to answer your question. And I think right now would be a good time because she's painted this glorious picture for us in the future. And it involves pretty much cashless society. And I'm wondering what would happen if I did something wrong and these people got access to my DNA and my wealth and all this right here, someone can just come up and say, well, hey, you want me to tell you a little bit? Now, Homeland Security... you don't have to reveal the book now. Yeah, the Matrix 4 book. Listen, it's all in the Matrix 4 book. All the answers are in the Matrix 4 book, but I'm going to give you a tape because you're worried about it and you've never seen the Matrix. But, you're going to see it now if I tell you what's coming down the road and what's in Matrix 4. Mm-hmm. Yes, Homeland Security got my Matrix 4 book. They bought it, NASA scientists. And Homeland Security said they wanted the technology that I created. Now, I'm saying in Matrix 4 book, in the future, they will wheel you into a outpatient facility, Homeland Security, or Skynet. And they will swab you and take all your DNA. And if you, become a felon, commit a felony, you lose your rights. And they will put a microchip the size of a pinhead in the delicate part of your brain. That's right. And it was a low jack. So in the future, the transmitters will be connected up to the satellites. And now the probation officers and the parole officers will be monitoring you on a screen. That's right. A flat screen, like via satellite, where the satellites will just beam down on you and actually videotape you committing a crime. They will microchip you and put you out there, but they can track you
if you're over in Russia or New York City or Florida or China, they can actually track you and see you committing the crime, and they will send a drone transporter to come pick you up. But you already videotaped, because in the future, with this new technology, you become your own judge, jury, and executioner if you can't control or behave yourself or control your emotions or your actions.
Mm-hmm.
This drone transporter would be like a... Go ahead.
This is the technology that you gave Homeland Security.
Well, I didn't give it to them. They want this. They read the book. They read the book, and they got excited. And, of course, they wanted this technology. And some of my fans, they were like, oh, no, please don't give this technology to Homeland Security, because I know greater details on how this all works. But anyway, like I was telling you, they'll send a drone transporter to pick you up, a black sphere. You won't even hear it because it won't make any sound. It'll be right by you, and it'll open up like a claw and suck you in and sedate you on the trip back to Homeland Security. And when you come in, they will take you out and put you back on a gurney and wheel you in. And this time they will insert these laser rings around you, like the rings around Saturn that you've seen. They will put these white laser rings around you, 3 of them around your body, 1 around your arm or your, your wrist, each. And you can walk around, and people at the mall will see that you're in jail. It's the new penal system. They don't have to put you on the moon anymore. Don't have to put you on a ship. Don't have to put a ring around your neck, or put you in, Alcatraz or somewhere water on an island. Now you can walk around in the population, and everybody will see that you're in jail or prison. You can talk to the people. You can speak to them. You can even touch them. But, I wouldn't advise it, because if you do any hostility, or you steal a purse, or you hit somebody or hurt somebody, it activates the ring. If you steal a purse, it activates the ring, and it cuts your hands off or your arm off. If you try to run from Homeland Security, they can activate the ring and cut your legs off. And if you do capital punishment, like kill somebody, they can activate the ring and cut your head off. Now, when you go home, as soon as you walk inside, these rings recede. No, they go in. You can go in and relax and sleep, do whatever you want. As soon as you step outside, these rings they come back. They rescind, and this is
well. Let me ask you this now: who is it that will provide this same technology, policeology, on Homeland Security?
Well, Homeland Security, this is all going to come regardless. I was talking about the tablets and the iPads and all of that way before Apple even conceived it or was selling it. I was talking about it in 1999. I was talking about it on my interviews, and fans even remember it. Lots of fans, because I've been recorded. I've done over 4,000 media interviews. I've been interviewing nonstop since October the 17th, 2003. And I've done a lot of mainstream. We're talking about Wall Street Journal, Rolling Stone Magazine, Essence, Source, Vibe. We're talking about, foreign countries, so I've been recorded a lot, and I've never had a publicist. People have just come to me and asked me for interviews. I've done Coast to Coast with 50 million listeners, twice with Art Bell and John B. Wells. Well, I've done it with Art Bell and John B. Wells, both.
Okay. All right. You was interviewed by By Art Bell?
Yeah, in 2005, I did Art Bell in 2006, and I did John B. Wells just, I think it was earlier this year, 2014.
Okay.
Yeah, I've done like front page newspaper, Michigan Chronicles, Frontline. We're talking about Vibe, Source, Essence, BET, ABC, Los Angeles Times, Time Magazine, CNN News, Ricky Smiley, Gary Bird, Hot 97, twice WBLS. I could go on and on and on. Uptown, Don Diva, Expos, BBC. We're talking about mega interviews.
Okay. Now tell us about the how the franchise that you have. How will that benefit us, people of African descent?
Well, I won, and I won my work, my franchises, and that I'm the writer of The Matrix and Terminator, validated by the courts, because I was telling people in these interviews for years that I was the writer and that I was the owner, and that these people created these illusions and lies, and all these, and these people were falling for it because they owned the media. See, it was in violations by letting them own all of this media, because by owning this media, they actually created a matrix and enslaved you guys in the matrix. And you guys didn't even know it. I created work to free you from the matrix, yet you let the media that these studios own and the thieves, and we're talking about Andy and Larry Wachowski and Warner Brothers and Fox and Joel Silver and Gail Ann Hurd and James Cameron, and these conduits that they use, Hemdale Films and Pacific Western, and a group of other parties and people steal, and they created these spins in the media, and they slandered me and defamed me, and the people said that the only thing that would convict them was if I validated it in the courts. Now, the FBI had validated the theft. My copyrights had validated the theft. The 6 movies, the 3 Terminator and the 3 Matrix movies, had my protective expression in the introduction that you were trying to tell people earlier when somebody wrote up erroneous, of course. But it was the introduction, which is the protective expression in the movies, that prove that you are the writer. Well, all of this had proven that I wrote The Matrix.
Okay, and so with this franchise that you have, how could we be a part of that? How could we benefit from that? Do you have a system set up that you would make available to us, the masses, where that we can, maybe perhaps create our own drones or something? What do you got?
You have benefited from it. You have benefited from the fact that I went in a court system, being a paralegal, not an attorney with a license, and beat these machines and corporations.
That's right, you did.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct.
Right. And this also inspired others like Muhammad Ali did to stand up and fight for your legacy, fight for your rights. This is one thing that's been really, really going on in the black population or people of color. You have to stand up and not be afraid and fight for what's yours. All the other races have segregated and created great wealth upon the earth, and they protect and love each other. and they put aside ignorance when they're dealing economically. Now, what I've done, what I've created, what I've won here is great changes, and great changes that are coming. You can't keep doing the same old thing.
You're right.
This is creating self-sufficient. This is creating black artwork to inspire you that you too can accomplish these things, that you too can get off and start creating and manifesting and manufacturing your own creativity, and that you can take your economic dollar and invest it in your own selves. This is what segregation is about, not integration, because you're giving your money to an economy or to a society that accepts your money but don't accept your color.
Sister, we got a lot of background noise there. We got a caller with the hand raised. I'm gonna open up the line here at 706. 706, come on in. Tell us who you are, where you calling from, and which question you have for the guest. 706, you're on the air. Hello, 706, you're on the air. Okay, 706. If anybody got a question or comment for the guest, go ahead and raise your hand. We're listening to Sophia Stewart, the creator of the Terminator and the Matrix and the owner of all of it. And she's describing a future for us and stuff. And so if you all got a question for the sister, go ahead and raise your hand and open up the lines. Let's go over here.
Yeah.
Erico 510. Tell me who you are. What's on your mind? What's your question for the guest?
No, I just wanted to make a shout out to Sophia Stewart, a.k.a. the writer of Matrix, a.k.a. the sexiest woman alive. Okay. I just wanted to say hi. It's just a shout out.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that very much.
All right, you're welcome.
All right, brother. We thank you for calling in. Okay, the lines are open. Go ahead and hit your dial and open up. Sister standing by. She's ready to answer your questions. Sister, you want to give us that website and those books one more time? And let me ask you something. Can we go directly to that website and purchase those books right there at that site?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You foreigners can get theirs from Amazon, but I'd rather my fans and people go to my website, www.matrixterminator.com, and get your books directly from me. There are ebooks for people who have tablets and iPads and iPhones that or now notebooks and whatever. We can accommodate you. I can accommodate those. And you can get your physical books as well as ebooks. And please, you're listening to the new technology, the new Matrix continuation, the new saga, Matrix 4 movie coming really soon. And this book is going to get you ready for it. There are about 3 to 4 billion Matrix and Terminator fans around the globe. And the last Matrix was 2003, and the last Terminator was 2009. So I'm going to give the readers up. So get your book, memorabilia, get your book ready, because I'm going to be coming in some point in time very, very soon, and have your books ready, because they're memorabilia, and I'll autograph them. And get your kids. And make sure the teacher bring in this book in the colleges, the universities, the schools, elementary, junior high. Demand at your nearest library. Demand the Matrix 4 book and the Third Eye book be added in the curriculum as a must study for Black history. This is black artwork. This is where you get to be proud and very proud of yourself. People of color, come on. Let's have unity. Let's support. Now it's been validated. Soon I'm going to call a press conference where those people who want to see it in the media, I'm going to give them what they wanted. First, I gave the people the truth. It was validated by the FBI, the staff. Then I went into the courts of California, and in 2003, my first lawsuit was filed April the 24th, 2003, and I filed it myself. And I wrote a RICO, which the judge court ordered on them, because the U.S. Attorney's Office had taken trust fund money not to prosecute. And anyway, they didn't prosecute these people, the U.S. Attorney's Office. They took the slush funds, and so that's when I took this theft case on my own to California and filed a lawsuit. And all these lies about I didn't show up is exactly what it is, lies. What they did was they couldn't beat the RICO, so they were going to go to jail. And they called me up, Bruce Isaac, they're the lawyers of the defendant, and asked if they could buy it, pay to drop the RICO. And I said no, because I wanted some of the people to go to jail so they could stop stealing from the people, so we could have diverse movies. And they needed to pay for the people's books, scripts, and work, because people always dream about their work being on the screen and being aspiring screenwriters. And so that's when they sent 4 attorneys. Dean Webb was the witness that told the FBI and myself that they were sent to sabotage my case. Then I turned around and filed a second court case in Utah on it was actually July the 30th or August 2007. It was that particular period, and I went in there and I got the 4 attorneys that sabotaged my case, and the judges, Magistrate Judge Evelyn First and Federal Judge Dee Benson, validated that I wrote The Matrix and Terminator and that the franchise belonged to me, and that it came under my copyright, and that these defendants had access and theft. They stole it. This was validated, and I just won this September the 25th, 2014, and I have the judgment and the paperwork to prove it for all the naysayers, all the haters, all the people of ignorance or scouts that they put out there to sabotage me, or to defame me, to slander me, to make me look like I'm crazy or ignorant, and all the other things that they said on the internet. Now I can show you who the liars and the crazy ones were. The crazy people was James Cameron, Gail Ann Hurd, Andy and Larry Wachowski, Joel Silvers, Fox executive, Warner Brothers executives, and a host of others. They were crazy because they thought that they could create an illusion to fool you people and get away with it by paying slush fund money to Eric Holden, to Dee Benson's law firm, which they try to buy the judge to be their lawyer, and a host of FBI agents, people at the DOJ, some people at the trademark office, and judges, like Judge Morrow, who had worked for them, and lawyers. These lawyers that they said had worked with Warner Brothers, Gary Brown, Michael Stoller, Dean Webb, Jonathan LaBelle, had all done some work with the Scientology Church and Warner Brothers. Okay. Some of them were even members of the Scientology Church.
We got another caller with their hand raised. I'm opening up the line at 412. Area code 412. Come on in. You got a question for our guest?
Yes. How you doing, Brother Tarhaka? This is Lisa. I just had a question. When I was listening and you were talking about the future technology that will be coming here, do you think that with all you did in the court system, fighting your case and, filing paperwork and winning,
go ahead.
But with the future technology and the government being able to immediately, lock you up and cut your hands off and all those things, do you think that would have been a possibility in the future?
No, because that's why I said if you read Matrix 4 book, the answer is in there. The answers are there. You have to get the book. This is why you love the Matrix. Did you see the Matrix 1?
I did. It's been years. I watched it a long time ago, probably when it first came out. So I don't remember all of it. But yeah, I did watch that.
But you did love it. You did love the Matrix. Am I right?
It was
about
okay.
That?
It was okay. I was young when I watched it, so I probably, if I watched it again, I would see more information now than I did then. I think back then I was just a Larry Fishburne fan, and so that's why I watched it. But I probably need to watch it again. But I didn't I didn't love it. It was okay to me. I was young. I didn't understand a lot of things, so it wasn't.
No, I understand. Look, when you're young, it has a whole new audience because it's about 14 or 15 years old now. And
right.
So I can understand you being younger because now but I guarantee you get Matrix 4 book or you get the Third Eye book, it's gonna open your mind. You're gonna be very happy because obviously you're listening to this and you have some spiritual question, some spiritual journey that's bothering you, and I promise you, it will give you the answer. Because I don't want to give away too much because the movie is coming and a lot of people, they know what the Matrix is. That's why I said there's 3 to 4 billion Matrix fans globally around the world, every race, color, creed, nationality, and tongue. Because it speaks in volume. It's spiritual. It's evolution. It's consciousness. So it doesn't matter if you see it again. You go out and you get the 6 movies, or you look at it at some point on the internet, because you can probably YouTube it and come up and watch it, or you get the books and start fresh and read. And it's going to make you more curious to look at those movies. Yeah. But you're going to get some answers.
Yeah, I know. I mean, just from historical perspective and reading and researching, usually when things are implemented into society, people of color, in particular of African descent, usually are on the losing end of those things and are usually the ones being treated differently, more harshly, I should say.
Yeah, no, listen to me. I know because I'm a person of color. I'm black, so I know what you're talking about. But my work, no, listen, I know where you're coming from. But what I'm trying to tell you is that, no, we don't get the losing end this time. This is what this whole work was all about. This is why Matrix and Terminator has actually shifted the consciousness of the world, has made people more aware, has brought healing, has brought some unity. And what I'm saying to you is that I'm giving you more of that. And the answers are there. Believe me, the answers are there.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. I'm enjoying the show.
Well, you're welcome. You're welcome. I'm just letting you know that you need not worry or fear the future, that there are good things coming. And this blood moon that we just experienced on Wednesday is just an omen of what's to come. That it's a whole new shift going on, and our people are rising, but they need to get up and read and see the choices and make choices and do something, take the stand, bring forth action, but know what you're going to do, learn, get knowledge, be informed. So when you do take action, it'll be the right action.
Okay. Thank you, sister. Yes, thank you very
You're
much.
welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you for calling in, Lisa. Okay. Sister, I think we need a little break. And when we come back, I have some questions, some more questions for you, and the phone lines will be open. And you can get you a little water and stuff. I'm going to get me some. And we'll take a little quick break, and when we come back, we'll resume. And the lines are open, 310-982-4184. We're listening to Sophia Stewart, the author and owner of The Matrix and The Terminator. And you all can get that book over at matrixterminator.com. Okay? Sister, we will be right back. Okay?
Okay.
Hold on, Mose. We will be right back.
How is it that the material that you did for such work even got into their presence, for these such films, such big films? How is it that they were able to extract that material?
Because I was shopping my work, like everybody shops their work in Hollywood, because everybody's dream is to have a movie on the screen.
Yeah.
And that's one thing. People around the entire world shop their work to the studios because they want that dream to come true. But the studios steal people's work instead of buying it. And they stole my work instead of buying it. So when I went to the FBI, and after the FBI interviewed me and looked at the evidence, they told me in their conclusion that it was definitely a theft case.
Yeah. Did that surprise you that the FBI was so direct?
No, it did not surprise me because I contacted the U.S. Attorney's Office in Salt Lake City, Utah, and I got Elizabeth Ann Stevens on the phone, one of the prosecutors, and I said, I saw The Matrix, and I am the writer of The Matrix, and would you like to prosecute this case? And she said yes. She said, but I need you to go to the FBI, and they will investigate, and they will turn over the evidence to us, and we'd prosecute it. But in fact, after all of that happened, in the year 2002, someone got bought out over at the U.S. Attorney's Office because Greg Diamond and Elizabeth Ann Stevens did not want to prosecute after they gathered all the evidence. This evidence was discussed and shown to me by different agents. We have corruption in America. That's why America is falling apart. It's so sad because history is repeating itself. If you go back and you look at Rome, every great civilization on the earth has collapsed because of corruption.
Yeah.
If man does not do anything about evil, then our whole society will collapse.
Yeah.
And this is why everyone should be concerned.
Of course, but if you look back at the history of mankind, recent history, I won't say history of mankind, but recent history it's been about the rich getting richer and the poor getting poorer.
Yeah, well, the rich keeps getting rich off of the poor. And I think that's where the parasite begin. Because that's what you are. When you steal and you copy, you are a parasite.
Yeah.
And all parasites need to be exterminated because things can only flow with polarity, and that means giving and receiving, not taking. Even the dinosaurs were used for fossil fuels in the end, and that's what happens to people who try to use or take what doesn't belong to them and not give back like the Native American Indians were talking about.
Yeah. The Native Indians had to have they had to go through some bad experiences to learn that first.
Well, that's what James Cameron's new movie is about. It's the old John and Pocahontas story, Avatar, where you move indigenous people off of their land and take the resources, and you kill them and you send in an Indian scout, and projecting your consciousness in a body is called demon possession, and that's how demons come in and wreck camps of people, because they will come in and possess a body or a person and start wreaking havoc in those people's lives. And that's what Avatar is about.
Yeah.
It's about stealing and getting rewarded off of a theft, and killing and moving people off of what belongs to them and taking it instead of buying it. And that's what he is, a thief and a liar.
But do you see America? I mean, America now has a black president. I'm black. You're black. I know. We know that.
Yes.
Do you see?
Indeed.
Do you see that because they have a black president? I mean, he's still working for the same people that the guys work for since hundreds of years. They're the same people who hold the power structure from a high position.
Yes, that's true. He's a black president. He's working for the same people but there's polarity in everything that we do. It's not all bad and it's not all good. It's good and bad mixed within the organization. Like in the White House, there are some very good people that are supporting Obama, and there's some bad people that are doing some really bad things. But people can make a difference, and it has nothing to do with what others do. It has nothing to do with what powers they may hold, because money and power are just illusions, like what I've told people in the Matrix. They're not real. They're just energies to influence. But the good energy and the good influence can also take place, and it begins with the man in the mirror, like Michael Jackson said. It begins with you and I and me right now taking this stand to open up the door, like Rosa Parks opened up that door a long time ago, so a lot of people could ride that bus and ride it correctly. So it begins, charity and love and changes begin with each man. It has nothing to do with us begging Obama to make changes. We can make the changes ourselves. We can help Obama to make the changes. It begins with us, not putting somebody over us, a king or queen or a president, and saying, get us justice, get us this, get us that. We have all of that within us, like in the Wiz of Oz, where Dorothy is looking for a home. Home is inside of us. Search inside of you. Home is where you lay your head. And the straw man needing a brain, if he uses his brain, he'll find it. And the lion needing courage. If he gets into a situation, he'd find his courage. And the tin man needing a heart. If you love somebody, then you will be given love. It will be given back to you. So they need to go to the wizard, the government, the system, and they didn't follow the yellow brick road, follow the gold, to the Emerald City, which is the green money of illusion, where the wizard, the man, the devil, the evil is sitting up there pulling the levers, the machines, to put fear into the people so they cannot use the gifts that's inside of them that God has given them. They need to recognize that there are no saviors. Save yourself. It's what needed to be taught to them. Dog, D-O-G. Just the flip side. But it's only one thing going on here. There's no two things. And the man, the wizard, yes, he's portrayed as the father, the architect, the heavenly one, but he ain't.
No.
He's the polarity that makes everything goes bad in this world. And all we have to do is, we don't got to kill him, hurt him, harm him. All we got to do is flip the energy.
And remove
flip it back on him.
And remove it.
That's right, and remove him. Like Jesus said, if someone hates you, then love them. If someone is doing harm to you, then pray for them. He's given us a remedy. He said you don't got to kill nobody, harm anybody. You don't got to commit suicide. You don't got to do anything bad. He said, I have given you a remedy. Use it.
Black woman and the woman in the Matrix.
The Oracle?
The Oracle.
It was created by me. The Oracle is me putting myself into my work. I'm a seer. And I felt like the second coming of Christ should be prophesied by a female, because he comes from the feminine energy.
Yeah.
The birth, coming through the birth canal to receive the soul, is that the female or the feminine energy is actually the energy of creativity. It is not the male energy. That's been lied to people by the scientists and the doctors and all the people on the earth. That is a grave lie. That the great Sphinx, the great Sphinx is a woman, and her nose was blasted off by the cannons of Napoleon.
Yeah, that's right.
Napoleon Bonaparte, because they knew that it was a woman, that the feminine energy, that the ISIS mystery schools all told this great secret, and they hated that. It wasn't, her nose wasn't shot off because it was a black population or black entities, the ancient Egyptians, because the Sphinx portrayed the female.
Female power.
Female power, baby.
Yeah.
Girl power.
Girl power. Yeah. I mean, the Western world is anyway, it's totally male-dominated.
That's right.
That's why we have a problem.
Yeah, because the egg didn't come first. The chicken came first.
Yeah.
And she was a woman. And out of her came the whole civilization of the many nations. And they didn't have a name until man gave them a label.
Okay, we are back. Guys and sisters, some questions for the sister. Y'all hold on.
A fresh new alternative to your holiday cooking needs. Auntie's Home Cooking and Catering are here for all of your holiday needs, preparing and delivering your holiday meals straight to you. Go to our website at www.auntieshomecookingandcatering and check out our special holiday menu. Auntie's Home Cooking and Catering brings over 25 years of restaurant and food preparation to the table, along with providing you with a stress-free holiday experience. Call Sharon Hunter or Felicia Camara at 469-206-6523 and let us do the cooking for you.
We are where we are in this life because of the actions we have or have not taken. You don't wait until war break out to start making ammunition. You make your ammunition in peacetime. Look up the word mortgage in Black's Law Dictionary. You will find the word lien. Now ask yourself a question. Do you need a lien? How can you say I'm being blessed? I just got a lien. Come on, man. Let's use a little common sense here, and let's start freeing up some capital for investment. Let's examine these things. Let's get all the information on it. Go to www.newdebtelimination.com. Contact me, Tarhaka Amana Elbe, 904-303-9061 before 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's go to work on this thing. Let's make the ammunition now.
Okay, everybody, we're back, and we're waiting on Sister Sophia Stewart to come back. She's our guest this evening, author of the Matrix and the owner of the Matrix and the Terminator. And I do have some more questions. This business, I have read the scripture in the King James Version over and over and over that if someone slaps you, turn the other cheek. If someone takes your coat, give them your cloak also. If someone despitefully uses you, pray for them. I always had a hard time with that. All my life I had a hard time with that. Sister, Sister Sophia?
Yes. Yeah, I'm right here, sweetie. right here.
Okay. I'm just fine. I was telling the you got a lot of background noise there, sister.
That's not me.
Okay,
That's not no background noise from me. I don't know where that comes from. I was going to ask you, did you put on a recording of me of my old interview with somebody during the break?
Yes, I did. Yeah, that was our break.
Well, why didn't you let people know? Because people thought they called me. A lot of people thinking that was live. You should have let people know that was not live, because people really thought it was live. A lot of my fans called me, and I said, no, that's a recording of a past interview.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, anyway, I often do that sometime when I'm doing my
but you should let people. You should let the people. I know, but you should let the people know that you're gonna do that, because you confuse the people if they don't. You know.
But let me ask you this now. You believe that in the scripture, if someone slaps you, you should let them slap you again. If someone takes your coat from you, you should take.
Are you telling me, or are you asking me? Because
I'm asking.
The way you stated the question, you believe. When you say something you believe, I never said I believe. When you say something, no. Why don't you just say what do you believe then? That would be more appropriate than you believe, because you believe is misleading. I'm a paralegal. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to stick to facts, and you know what I'm saying. I don't want to misrepresent anything or confuse anybody, or make someone think something that's not something else going on when it's not.
Okay. Well, let me just put it from my perspective. This is where I see it. If a man slap me, I'm gonna tear his head off. If he take my coat, I'm gonna take his and mine and his shirt. If he spitefully use me, I'm gonna hunt him down and I'm gonna find him. That's my perspective on that situation there, that in that particular scripture there in the Bible. I'll just put it that way from the way I see it.
I don't know what scripture you're talking about, but I'm very glad to hear your opinion on things, because everyone has different opinions out there, and they're all entitled to their opinions, and whatever happens to them is because of the opinions they have formulated or act upon. So, I'm not speaking for anyone. I can only speak for myself, and I'm glad you spoke for yourself. Now, what scripture are you talking about? Because you got me confused.
Well, it's I was listening to the audio recording, and I do remember the scripture in the New Testament where it was stating that Jesus said that if someone slaps you, turn the other cheek. If someone takes your coat, give them your cloak also. If someone despitefully uses you, pray for them. That's the scripture.
Could you give me the numbers of that scripture? What is the name of it and the number?
No, well, I don't have that readily handy.
Well, I've never discussed that scripture.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, let's go on. Could you tell us about the part, because this is what I want to know. How do you, in your personal opinion, see the future as far as people of African descent eventually taking their neighborhoods and transforming them into thriving communities that they own, control, and operate, and the wealth remains in their community until they decide to go out? Do you see any of that happening for us in the near future?
That's why I wanted you to read the book, because there's something very phenomenal in the book for all to read. Because if you're worried about the future, I'm telling you that I'm a visionary seer, and what I've written is a very phenomenal metaphysical spiritual message, And a lot of people got that message when they saw the Matrix movie. You and the lady have never seen, when she saw it, but it was a long time ago when she was very young. And you yourself have never seen it. And so my advice is, because you're like interviewing me on the blind, you never read the books, either one. And
no, I haven't read the book.
I know, you have never read neither book. Or you said you only seen the Terminator movie, and so that's only seeing part of what the book has to express. Because it's kind of hard to answer your questions when you're dealing on the blind side. But I
am going to purchase them.
Listen to me. I promise you that you will get the answer, and I'll come back on your show. I will come back on your show and answer any questions. Any of the fans, they can purchase my book and call me up personally and talk to me about anything they want to talk about with the Matrix or Terminator. And I have tons of them from all over the world, even Dubai and Africa, and calling me from all over, Australia, London. And fans are buying my book from because they know it's the real thing. I do want to caution everybody, there are no used copies of my book, meaning that if you get the book, be careful. Don't loan your book out. People have stolen books, my books from people who loan their books out or let someone read it or let someone, see it. Just be careful. Don't let's loan your book out. Just keep your book to because I'm just telling you the metaphysics, the spirituality, the knowledge in the books are astronomical. Ask anyone who's ever gotten a copy.
Okay. Well, now, I didn't know if that had been covered in there. I know we talked a lot about technology and the future and stuff. But me personally, I'm not a multicultural. Okay.
No, listen, it's covered. It is covered in the book. The message is there. It is going to be on the screen. And the message that people got from the first Matrix is astronomical. And I'm continuing it, but greater. So it's there. That's what I'm saying. Everything is there. You are just like Neo. Neo and you are one, and somebody may be like Morpheus, or some may be the Oracle, or some of the others in the book. Excuse me. They might be on that journey of spirituality, metaphysics. Okay. But you won't be disappointed, I promise. Any of you out there,
I will.
I mean,
I am quite proud to meet you and to know that you have done such a wonderful work. I'm definitely going to buy the books. There's no doubt about that. I'm going to do that. I wish I could have got them earlier, but I've been so pressed putting this information out and getting ready for the broadcast tomorrow because we're going to be dealing with internet marketing and mastering the internet and all that stuff and marketing. So I'm going to do that on High Frequency Radio tomorrow. And so I had two things to do: make sure I get your stuff out and set up a little bit of something for tomorrow and get that done early in the morning and get rolling on that. But as far as the you was telling us about the court situation. When they, how long did it take you to beat them at this in that courtroom?
Well, my first case, that's what I was telling you guys before we went on the break. That's where I left off. The California case, they came in, they sabotaged it intentionally, willfully. They didn't have any copyrights. Gail Ann Hurd and James Cameron was doing assignments and using a conduit or what you call a constructive trust, where they had put my script treatment, The Third Eye, under, and which they had adapted to the screen as the Terminator. And the Wachowski brothers never had any copyrights either. They are both, parties or all parties entered fraud into the Copyright Office, because what the Wachowski brothers did was they put in a trust called Raji Alwal, and it was an irrevocable trust where you put money in so you could avoid paying taxes, and you could actually steal money from investors. Whoever investors put up $200 or $300 million for a movie, you could actually steal a lot of that money by putting up a trust with a person's name on it, make it look like it's a trust for a person, and when no such person exists. It's just a conduit. A conduit means it's something where you can fondle money, or you can money laundering, or you can avoid taxes, tax evasion. And so this is what they did. And they put this fraud in the Copyright Office. And so when I went to Utah, because I lived in Utah for a moment, I come from a military law enforcement background and family. And my brother was stationed at a Hero Air Force base, and I came to visit him. There's actually two of them. Came to visit him, and this is when I found out about the theft of the Matrix, March the 31st, 1999, the national release. I didn't know anything about the Terminator until the FBI told me about it in 2001. But anyway, in the California case, since the U.S. attorneys, Greg Diamond and Elizabeth Ann Stevens, had gotten paid off with slush funds by Warner Brothers, I had to go in myself and file the lawsuit. And they sent these four attorneys, and Dean Webb, one of the attorneys, told, I guess because he was afraid, he told because Andy and Larry Wachowski and Fox, 20th Century Fox, Warner Brothers, and Hemdale Films, which was a conduit, which would have put them in jail, RICO, were all, Joel Silvers, were all taken, they didn't answer the amended complaint.
Okay.
In other words, they were removed. So when they fixed the case and got it adjudicated, they brought in another judge. They went judge shopping, got rid of the black judge, Terry Hatter, that used to be with Martin Luther King during the civil rights era. That's the late Johnny Cochran. He called for my case, and I was the last case that Johnny Cochran called for, and I was invited to his funeral. But anyway, he told me Hatter would bend over backwards to make sure that I got justice. And of course, they had to take Hatter out by hiring his son, who was an attorney. They hired him, but they didn't even use him. They just paid him some money so it would be a conflict of interest, so they could get his father off of the bench, because his father, like I said, Terry Hatter Jr., the senior judge, chief judge of California, federal, he would have made sure I got justice, and they knew that. He was a threat. They brought their own girl, Margaret Morrow, who had worked for Warner Brothers on the case, and she basically fixed the case for slush funds. She knew that lawyers, Jonathan LaBelle wasn't even an attorney. He had been disbarred. He had been disbarred since 1993. So he couldn't even make any appearances in the courts. She had worked with him, Morrow had worked with that so-called lawyer, Jonathan LaBelle. So it was a conflict of interest. Not only did she had worked with Warner Brothers, she was a Scientologist. The Scientology Church was involved with the theft with these people because they're Scientologists. And my former lawyers, they were all Scientologists that had worked with Warner Brothers. So they all fixed all of this. Public didn't know because the media didn't cover the case. Had the media covered the case, then everybody would have found out the truth. But they made sure that no media covered the case. And then they later on, they slandered and defamed me and say I didn't show up because, they want to make me look like the blame. So all the people of color would get mad at me instead of taking the anger out on them or knowing they were the culprits behind what happened in 2003/2004 California case.
Well,
but some
let
of
me
the
ask
Illuminati.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to finish.
And
then I'll hold your question. It's very important. But some of the Illuminatis called me in 2006 and told me that I was going to have a second case and that I was going to win it and play a major role in world events. And this was November of 2006. And right after I got that phone call, I got a second phone call from the Masons, and they told me that as soon as Prince Charles and his then wife Camilla, and they were on their way to America, as soon as they touched the American soil, I would get a visitor. And, of course, the visitor was Governor Schwarzenegger. He was governor of California at that time, Schwarzenegger was the governor. He called me and offered me $5 million because he had in his possession stolen Terminator work. He owned 5% of stolen work, being the governor.
Mm-hmm.
And he was trying to make it right by paying for it, which I did not accept the $5 million. And right now, he's been for the last 4 years trying to come back with Terminator 5. He didn't change it from Terminator 5 to Terminator Genesis, the reboot, love story, Terminator 1, and then 2, 3. It's just pathetic. He should have never had any stolen work in his possession, being the governor of California. That's a conflict of interest.
Did he know it was stolen?
Yes, he knew it was stolen. He called me and called them fools. He called Andy and Larry Wachowski and James Cameron and Galen Hurd and them. He called them fools. Mm-hmm. He's the governor of California. Of course he knew it was stolen. He didn't know it was stolen when he was acting in it. But he found out later on. So did Julian Bond, the director of the NAACP. He called me and congratulated me and said that he was very happy that, I had inspired all the little black children, giving them black superheroes so they can aspire to become anything they wanted. And I did speaking engagements to the children with the NAACP, and they gave me the Rosa Parks Award in 2005. And then Jesse Jackson of Rainbow Push, they all knew it was stolen. They took pictures with me. Celebrities, major celebrities, in Rainbow Push. Jesse Jackson invited me to his private birthday party and took pictures and kissed me and invited me to his Katrina event. The media was all there, all over it. These people are on the high echelon. They know it was stolen. The only thing that they just didn't know, and none of you knew, that I was going to win it, that I was going to come back in again with a second case in Utah, covering that up and putting lies on the Internet that whenever my win came out, because I won this case in 2012, 2 years ago, $150 million 2 years ago, and they covered it up. They kept lying to you guys and saying, oh, it's the newspaper article floating around saying that she won, that first case was adjudicated, blah, blah, blah. It's just to blind you guys from the truth about the second court case that I won. And then they made a fatal mistake. The fatal mistake that they did was they tried to punish me. They had done everything they could to harm me, but they tried to punish me by putting in fraudulent liens into the Utah court. Well, they were California lawyers, and you can't come and put anything in a federal court in another state unless you have a law office there or you work through a Utah law firm. Well, they put in the fraudulent liens through the judge's law firm. They used the judge's law firm that was on my case, D. Benson, a senior judge. They used his law firm and paid his law firm. In essence, you're paying the judge to fix the case.
Mm-hmm.
And they wanted the judge to fix the case and put in the liens. And when I win the judgment, they wanted the judge to turn around and give them the judgment and the money. Well, I notified the Department of Justice in Obama and let him know what was going on and sent them paperwork and evidence. And this is the day on September the 25th, Eric Holden resigns. Well, Eric Holden had already investigated my case, the DOJ, and found that, and they had discussed it with me, they had validated the theft on these people, and they were supposed to prosecute these people. Again, here the Utah FBI and U.S. Attorney's Office had gotten bought off with slush fund money and had not failed to prosecute. Then the case went over to the DOJ, and Eric Holden had validated the theft and failed to prosecute. Now, the U.S. Attorney's Office told me the reason why they didn't prosecute because they had a conflict of interest. That, that they were involved, commingling, incestuous involvement, 30 to 40 years with these judges and clerks, and they were their relatives and friends and business associates, and commingling business access with these people, and so they had a conflict of interest. They couldn't even go in and arrest them. They would have to get an outside agency to come in to do the arrest. Again, I have a third court case that you guys don't know about, and it's over in the trademark. Warner Brothers and these people had gotten these counterfeit trademarks, and they were counterfeiting when they knew that they did not own any Matrix or Terminator. They had committed fraud against the government and the Copyright Office. They had deposited fraud and perjury and all kind of that showed accessory that they were doing RICO. I'm right here.
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I heard some clickety-click on the line. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, that wasn't me. I don't know where that comes from. That didn't come from me. I promise.
I got a feeling that I know where it's coming from. I know where it's coming from. But go ahead.
Anyway, like I was saying to you guys, all these people were involved in RICO conspiracy. One attorney, and it's all this evidence that I'm speaking about has been validated and put into the courts, and the DOJ, Department of Justice, and the new people there are all aware of all these facts that I'm telling you guys. Over at the trademark, they had put in conduits, they had put in fraudulent documents, they had used attorneys that used to work for the trademark office, high-ranking examining attorneys, to commit fraud and perjury and a RICO conspiracy, and conduits in there, like the like I was telling people, like Dan Cracchioli is a trust, and the Raji Arwell a trust. These are all RICO enterprises that put you in jail because all of this is willful. They willfully did this when they knew that Warner Brothers were never adjudicated in the California case. James Weinberger was hired to lie to the trademark three judges, and put in documents from the California case, from the Utah case, and put in documents from Nevada, which Nevada wasn't even a case. Before I could even do a case in Nevada, I had filed on the Cloud Atlas where Andy and Larry Wachowski was doing fraudulent inducement. They had lied on the film and said that they were the writers, creators of The Matrix, to fraudulently induce customers to get a ticket to see Cloud Atlas. And I filed on them because it was fraud. But before I could even serve them, you have 120 days to serve. Warner Brothers had paid the judges in Nevada to shut down the case. To shut down the case before I even could file to summons them to the case. If you don't file a summons or you don't summon anybody to a court case, then you don't have a court case. It's automatic dismissal. But they ruled on the case before I can even summons. This was really pathetic. Go ahead.
Well, sister, why didn't you? Why did you? Because did you ever think about leaning some bonds and bar cards up in there?
Are you kidding me? I leaned them up for $3.5 billion in damages. That's what they owe me. And I had the judgment to go with the liens. I entered the liens over in Utah. Now listen to me. I entered the $3.5 billion in the liens in the Utah court case. And the judge refused to pay me on the damages because he was bought and paid for with slush funds. So I entered the liens into the trademark because over in the trademark, it's righteousness over there because they got 3 judges over there and you can't buy the judges. You can buy some of the examining attorneys, but you can't buy the judges. They will prosecute you under Title 18. They prevented Warner Brothers from getting trademarks on Reloaded and Revolution. They never applied for The Matrix because I own The Matrix, state trademark. Now, they knew that they couldn't get it, so they put in a video game that I own, Enter the Matrix video game. And they lied to the judges over there that it was a movie, part of a movie series. They entered in all of these fraudulent documents. I know you guys can't believe this, but it's going to come out in the public. And you're hearing it from me, and you can listen to this tape, and you can send it anywhere. Send it to the Fed. Send it to the DOJ. Give it to your friends, because I'm speaking the truth. The Department of Justice, the FBI, all of these people know that these people have committed theft and fraud and a conspiracy, RICO. In fact, an attorney, a black attorney named Brian Thomas, busted all of them. He gave the whole RICO conspiracy in a letter to Chris Fenton at DMG. He said that all of the attorneys and Warner Brothers and them were moving aggressively against me to steal my copyright in my protected work in the franchise. And that they were going to bankrupt me. That's right. They were going to put in fraudulent liens, $305,000 worth, and bankrupt me and steal the copyright in the franchise. And if they could not succeed on this by stealing and doing this, then they will turn around and pay me. They also created this Thomas Outhouse stuff because Relativity Media said they didn't give a shit about Warner Brothers. They knew they didn't own anything and they were going to get it from me, Matrix 4. And they wanted to block Relativity Media. So they created this fictitious stuff that Thomas Outhouse, 15 years ago, almost 20 years ago, had sent in for The Matrix, and he didn't see the movies because he was under the care of a psychiatrist. And then when they found out it was no longer any threat from Relativity Media, who withdrew, then they turned around and said that was cleared up and closed that out, and no judge signed off on it because it was all fraud in the courts. Because they thought that they were going to get away with this. They had no idea that Obama was going to come in and play a hand in this, because they were going to use the money they made anywhere from $35 to $100 billion, and they had used a good $500 million, which is $500 million, to try to harm Obama, to try to get him under Title 8, Title USC Title 18, USC 4, Title 18, USC 4. They were going to try to get him, and they were using this slush fund money to do some harm to him. And this is how I prevailed and how I won, because of Obama. Obama had Eric to resign because he'd been in office all this time and never prosecuted one white-collar crime. And he also replaced Benson with another judge, Jill Parrish, September the 18th. Took him off the bench. All this happened right behind each other. Eric, on the day Eric resigned, September the 25th, and Benson got replaced, that's the day Benson signed the court order that I won the case and that the defendants had access, that they stole my work, and that I was the writer of The Matrix and Terminator, and it was a fact. But he was mad. He was mad than a hatter. He was burning, and he was hotter than fish grease. So this is how I prevailed, by the grace of God, not by any of you, not by any of these other people. None of them. The rich and the powerful did not give me anything. It was the grassroots people and the grace of God.
Well, did you have to fight them again to make them pay you?
No, I do not. You know what liens are. That's what you just got through asking me. Why didn't you put liens on them? Well, guess what? I did. I wrote The Matrix and Terminator, and I put the liens on them, $3.5 billion, way back in 2009. And all you need is a judgment against them, and I got that judgment because Steve Vincent validated it, and they're in the trademark arena with me. So I entered the trademark. I entered my state trademark, my copyrights, my judgment, and the liens against all of them, because all of them are in the trademark arena. That's my third court case. So did I make them pay? Yes, I did. $3.5 billion in damages. So how do you like me now?
I love you. You're my kind of girl. Right there. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, yeah. Well, sister, I tell you what, I'm certainly proud of you for that. And keep up the good work on that thing there. Now, what else is it about what you're doing, in your opinion, you think is the most important lesson to learn from what you're doing? And what else is it that you can inspire
there
us?
There is no lesson to learn. This is an inspiration. No lesson to learn, because I didn't do anything wrong. You only learn a lesson from when you bump your head, and you got to get it right. I didn't bump my head. I got it right. There's no lesson to learn, but it's an inspiration. Let's not talk in the negative. Let's not reverse the polarity of the energy here. It's rocking. But the inspiration here is that anyone can come in there and do what I've done and greater. Don't let anyone run you off. Don't let anyone scare you. Stand up for your rights. Make the government pay you. They bombed Oklahoma City, the KKK, and they stole all the money and killed some of the black millionaires. They stole Black Wall Street from you. They bombed over there, Philadelphia, to move people. And they're killing your kids, your boys, your young kids, your young boys, and beating black women in the faces. Stand up. Forget about Al Sharpton. Forget about Jesse Jackson. Forget about Martin Luther King Foundation. They're not going to come and rescue you, but save yourself. It starts with you. Make them pay. All the other races did. When they dropped the bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, they made them pay. You can make them pay, but you can't do it by grumbling, and you can't do it by talking against each other and not any unity and not any love and all this self-hatred and ignorance and all this pride with calling yourself an African American when the Africans don't even care anything about you. Forget about the pride because it don't get you nowhere. Your kids are getting killed. You need to step up to the plate and make the government pay you. The Aunt Jemima case is on the table where they didn't poison her and took her formula. Did a lot of bad things. Now's the time to pay up. The blood moon was here yesterday. Time for changes. Don't change them, change you. Change your mind. Step up to the plate. I did, and look what I got. You can do it and greater. It's in you. But grumbling and complaining and whining and bitching and all this and tearing up your neighborhood and rioting and all of this stuff and fighting and shooting, it's only going to injure you. You're tearing down what little bit you have. Take your money, that's right, your $90 billion that you put into an economy that don't even respect you and don't care about you. Put it into yourself. Put it into yourself. That's my message.
Well, now, I had a situation in July. So I was supposed to be in, catch a plane to Dallas in July. And I had ordered my plane ticket online. And I don't have a driver's license. I don't have a need for that. Nobody's paying me to drive. But I do have a world passport issued by the World Services Authority, and my name is spelled on it in upper and lowercase letters as a proper noun, just like any man would. But when I got there, they took my luggage. They looked at the ID. They issued my way to get on the plane, and so they told me just take that right on around this to security, and so you can board the plane. But when I got around the security, the Transportation Security Administration was checking people's ID before boarding the plane. So I gave the guy my world passport, and he told me that I couldn't board the plane because that was a state-issued ID. That was not a state-issued ID. In other words, I had to have a state-issued ID with my name on it spelled as improper noun in all caps indicating anything other than a man. And so they would not let me board my flight. And I had people in Texas waiting on me to get there to discuss law with them. And it caused me a problem. So what I did was I went home and I drew up an affidavit. And I needed John H. Pistol to rebut this affidavit for me. And I need $500 million for the delay. and he's got 14 days to answer. And well, what do you think about that situation, that ID situation?
They're going to harass you when they see that you are advertising that you know the law and you know the game. Because when they looked at your passport, they knew you knew the game. And everybody that knows the game, they got everything set up for them. They got a system, they got a court, and you can't beat them at their own game because they play Monopoly. That's right. They invented Monopoly. How I beat them was with the art of war, Thick Face, Black Heart, or the, Thick Black Theory in the art of war. You cannot beat this man at his game when he created Monopoly. Why am I going to play Monopoly with him when he created Monopoly? He knows all the technicalities. He knows in and out. But I know the art of war. I know Thick Black Theory. And I'm not going to come on your turf playing your game. And what you guys do is you play these guys' games. And it's tit for tat. And it's war. And there's casualties in war. Oh, yeah. I'm not trying to be a casualty in war. So I'm not going to play anybody's game. If I come on the board with you, I'm not going to play your game. I'm going to find out who you are, what your weaknesses are, what you're into, and then I'm going to come another way. And you are not even going to see me, and you're not going to even hear me, and you definitely ain't going to know where that brick came from that hit you in the back of your head.
Did you grow up in my neighborhood around me? Where you?
I grew up in New York City, dude. Yo, dude,
okay,
I grew up in New York City, okay?
So we were doing that down here on the regular. Oh yeah. Well,
what I just
do
told
understand
you,
what you're
dude,
talking about.
I am David, and you are not going to take a giant down unless you got some stones.
I am fully aware of that. I do know it. There's no doubt about that. Now, in your opinion, sister, which one of your books in a priority situation would you say that we should read first, even if we've got them all at one time?
For all those who are well-versed in metaphysics, numerology, esoterical stuff, I would suggest The Third Eye for you, for the deeper mysteries. For those who are interested in the answer of evolution, conscious, alien technology, and what's coming in the future, I would suggest Matrix 4 for you. And you're a big Matrix fan, and you're waiting on the next episode before the movie gets here, I would suggest that. And for all those fans who love both, I would just suggest get both books, or get one at a time, either one that you love first, but you're not going to be disappointed. Again, I assure you, it is the real Matrix and the real Terminator. Look at the cover of the book. It's been selling since 2012. The Third Eye since 2005, globally around the world. And it hasn't even been translated yet. Can you imagine what's going to happen once it's translated into these other countries' language?
Wow. Do you get feedback from these other countries in regards to your work?
Not only do I get feedback, I got right now waiting 160 phone calls on my voicemail. On my Facebook, I had over 7,000 messages. And do I hear from? Yeah. I hear from emails and phone calls from Dubai, India, Africa, Australia, London, Germany, all over, the Caribbeans, everywhere. My even France. So yes, I'm doing interviews like in Malta. Can you imagine a Malta interview that they've heard about me in Malta? I mean,
Wow.
All over there in Holland. So Mexico, I got fans Koreans that love me. Russians, Russians call me all the way from Russia. So you guys have no idea how much love I get. I got Illuminati fans. You heard the Rothschilds, Leo Zagami, over in Europe, over there from Rome, Italy. Celebrity fans, huge ones. 50 Cent, Diddy, Common, Cannabis, Shamar Moore, Wesley Snipes, Snoop, Kelly, just tons of them. I mean, I am not joking with you.
Okay.
Numerous, even Lawrence Fishburne himself, Marcus Chong. I could go on and on and on.
Okay. Well, now, you have, tell us about your current standing here. You have a family. You come from a large family?
Man, let's put it like this. My father had kids and my mother had kids. How's that? Does that answer your question?
Okay. All right. Okay, I got you. Okay. So now, one more time, what should we be looking for from Sophia Stewart next?
Matrix 4 movie. What else? Matrix 4 movie. Terminator 5. The continuation of my work, like Star Wars. You don't kill the goose that lays the golden egg.
No, you sure do.
All creators continue their work. That's how you know they're the real creators. Andy and Larry Wachowski pulled a Chris Angel and a Milli Vanilli on you guys. You heard it, a Chris Angel and a Milli Vanilli on you guys. They couldn't carry on the Matrix. What did they do? Go out and buy other people's work. David Mitchell's work, Cloud Atlas. The Japanese writer work, Speed Racer. V for Vendetta, the English writer, Alan Moore. You guys got to be totally fool or totally foolish. If you wrote The Matrix and Terminator, you continue the work. James Cameron didn't even want to talk about it because he's scared of getting arrested. He went out and bought a farm in New Zealand, but he found out something that they went over there and got .com that feds did in New Zealand. So that ain't going to even save them. Their offshore accounts, Obama made sure that he can go in on the offshore accounts. And if you put $10,000 in a bank account, you better explain where it comes from because the feds will be knocking at your door.
Mm-hmm.
You heard it right. You don't explain that $10,000, the FBI will be knocking at your door. You know that, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, why don't, okay, now, this is where I see it now. Hollywood, they're bringing out all these movies and all this right here. But who is it in their own personal network that they can use to produce something where they won't have to go steal somebody else's work?
You don't get it, do you? You don't get it. Why do they need, they don't have any creativity. That's why they steal. If they had creativity, there would be no need to steal. There would be no need for you to steal if you have creativity, if you could create something. They used to buy it from the people, don't you remember? Why do you think we had all those diverse movies And while we had people that were famous screenwriters, they would buy John Grisham's book. Don't you remember The Firm and the Pelican Brief? That's John Grisham. Then they bought Lord of the Rings from J.R. Tolkien. He's dead now, but he died before his work was even adapted to the screen. And Tom Clancy, he's dead now. But his movies, they were buying his movies and putting them on the screen. But when they can steal it, why buy it? If it's going to make billions of dollars, they offered me $5 million, $5 to $7 million. That's nothing. My work made billions of dollars. And what creator want to give up their work and let you lie and say you did that when you can't even do anything else? You can't duplicate or continue or replicate the work. Why do you think that the Wachowskis was paying David Mitchell, Cloud Atlas, paying Alan Moore, the English writer, V for Vendetta, paying Speed Racers, which came out back in the 60s, the Japanese, they're buying. So how can they come up with an original concept, The Matrix, and The Matrix is worth billions of dollars, and you kill off the franchise? Lucas didn't kill off Star Wars. You'd have to be blind, crippled, or crazy not to understand what's going on. Or you don't know how Hollywood works. Hollywood has to buy it. If they don't buy it, then they're going to steal it. How about that? And you need to learn some of the fundamental things that I know and use to not only protect your work, but to make sure no one steals it. Or even think about it.
Who else made great works that they have stolen?
The James Bond franchise that you look at. Remember the James Bond franchise with Sean Connery that goes way back? That was stolen from the original writer.
Okay, well, what is this Ian Fleming?
You can look the case up. I don't know who Ian Fleming is. All I know is that they used the James Bond case in my court case in California, and they told the judge, Judge Morrow, that they stole the James Bond franchise from the original writer because he sat on his rights and he didn't put him in a lawsuit. He didn't report it to the FBI. So they got a judge to give it to them on the statute of limitations. They told the judge, Morrow, that they stole the Terminator from me 18 years ago. It was in 2004. They told September 2004, they told Judge Morrow, Margaret Morrow, they stole the Terminator from me and hoping she would shut the case down on statutes of limitations. And the Matrix defendants told the judge they had already bought it from me because they had done a settlement. She told them to admit to the crimes that they committed was willful intent, that the clock starts ticking the moment the victim discovers the theft and not when you commit the act. I just discovered the theft in 2001 from the FBI. I didn't go to the movies to see the Terminator. I was married with a baby in 84, October of 84. I just had a baby. Married. Housewife.
Okay.
Okay? So I didn't find out about the theft until 1999, March the 31st, The Matrix. And, of course, being a paralegal and, of course, coming from a military law enforcement background and family, I knew to call up the U.S. Attorney's Office and ask if they wanted to prosecute the case. The U.S. Attorney does white-collar crime. When white-collar criminals steal millions and billions of dollars like Bernie Madoff, like the wolves on Wall Street, like the Enron executives. This is who you call up for that kind of crime, the U.S. Attorney's Office. But you know them whenever blue-collar crime is being committed, it is the police and the DA's office. And this is what you guys deal with. You guys deal with the DA and the policeman. But when it gets to millions and billions of dollars, it's the U.S. Attorney's Office and the FBI. And especially when you got copyrights. And you better have those copyrights and don't let them tell you about this poor man copyright mess. The poor man copyright mess is not going to get you anywhere. Not anywhere. So they write about it in the book and tell you to use it. It's not any good. Your protection comes from copyrights. In fact, the studios go out and they get copyrights when they're not stealing. And that's why the feds come out and arrest you when you bootleg their movies or you download their music. This is why you get arrested. If they had a poor man's copyright, you wouldn't see any feds and you could take all of it you want. How about that? So they bring you into court and try to prove it that it belongs to them. That's why them telling you about a poor man's copyright is something they wouldn't even do themselves because they know it's not going to go anywhere. So the books and whatever they're doing is teaching you ignorance, teaching you that ignorance so they can steal from you. Who would, in their right mind, write something and tell people to go out and get a poor man's copyright? It ain't even a copyright. It don't have absolutely no value whatsoever other than to set you up so they can steal from you. Again, I told you guys, they pulled the Chris Angel and the Milli Vanilli on you guys.
Well, sister, to be honest with you, I don't believe in going in that man courthouse to do nothing.
You can go in there. Listen to me. You can go in there. You just can't go in there playing his game of Monopoly. You can go anywhere, and you shouldn't be afraid to go anywhere as long as you're coming in there with truth and justice. And that, if you go in there with any other mindset and something else, you're not going to come out. I guarantee you that. You probably will have some handcuffs on.
I always try to win before we ever get in there.
Now listen, if you go in there wielding the truth, you're going to be fine as long as you wield the truth and you don't play the man's game. You cannot go in there playing Monopoly. He created and he invented it. And you can't go in there with tit for tat because you're going to be the loser. But you can go in there with truth and you can go in there with a plan, but not his plan or his game. And I guarantee you, you will be victorious. You will win, and I will show you how. It's a piece of cake. Because what he's creating is an illusion, lies, and ignorance. But you're going to come in with the real thing, just like Moses. When Moses had that staff, well, the Pharaoh called all his witches and warlocks and stewards, soothsayers, and wizards, and told them to create illusions. And, of course, they created a lot of illusions. And Moses hit that staff, and that staff ate up all those illusions because that's what truth do. Staff is truth, and it ate up the illusions, and that's what I brought in there. They created all these ignorance and illusions for you guys, and the truth ate it up.
Well, how do you win without going in there when you're tangling with the devil?
You can't win without facing your opponent. That's the whole deal. You have to face your opponent. Unless you plan on doing something conniving and, that's deceitful, then you can't win. You have to face your opponent. The whole thing is you have to have faith, not fear. You have to act out of faith. not fear. You have to act out of knowledge, not ignorance. You have to act out of truth, not a lie. Because one of you is going to be willing the truth and the other one's going to be willing the lie. And I can tell you right now which one of you are going to win. The one who's willing truth is going to win. How's that? That should clear it up for you.
Well, okay. I got that part. I've done some things, but I didn't go in there. And I think they tried to make me go in there, but I didn't go in there. Because once I found out the truth about who needed a driver license and who didn't, I just contacted the sheriff man to man and told him, laid it out for him in a piece of paper and sent it to him. And he didn't like that. He ran and got a lawyer. So I got them and threw them under the bus. So we back to square one. So we gave his men charge. I told his men, don't stop that car there. Don't stop him no more. So we never did get into the courtroom.
I know, but what you did was let me give you an example of what you did and what I did. And listen really carefully at this, because this is a great metaphysical story, but it's a true story, and all people need to listen to it. During the summer when we was visiting my grandmother, the one who's full-blooded Native, we were playing in some trees by her house that looked just like a little cave. In the trees were these wasps, and they were in a wasp nest, and it was huge. Well, we wanted to play in that treehouse, but we knew we were going to get stung. But we needed to get that wasp nest out of there. So we had to devise a plan to get it out of there. Well, my brother, he went in there wielding a stick. He went in there and started trying to beat the wasp nest down, beat the whole nest down. Man, they ran his ass out of there. Excuse my language, folks. And the wasps were stinging the hell out of him. We, on the other hand, we formulated a plan and went in there with some fire and smoked the wasps out. And they all, with the fire and the smoke, they ran, all of them. And when they ran, we took the nest down and destroyed it. They had to go someplace else. This is what I'm trying to tell you about you. You went in there with a stick and started hitting them, that sheriff, and made him angry, and he went and got his other buddies, and you whacked them. All you're going to do is get a whole bunch of wasps after you. Me, I told you, I went in there with the fire and the smoke, made them leave, and then took their nest down. They had to go someplace else. The moral of the story, you can go in there like they told you, getting people angry and stinging, or you can go in there with a plan and it'll work. How you do things, how you see things. Some people see the glass half empty. Some people see the glass half full. When I see the glass, it's half full. I'm going to fill it back up. You give me some lemons, I'm going to make lemonade. I'm not going to gripe and say, what am I going to do with these lemons? I can't eat them. No, I'm going to take them and make some lemonade out of them and be fit and be full. It's how you look at things and how you handle things, whether with a negative or positive, is going to get you the results. That's all I'm going to say. You heard me? I'd like to take some questions now. I hope many people have some questions to ask me.
All right. The number to dial in the broadcast, everybody, is 310-982-4184. If you have a question for my guest, go ahead and raise your hand. I'll open up the line so you can get in. And we are listening to Sophia Stewart. If you got any questions, go ahead and raise your hand, and I will open up the line. Okay, let's see what we got here. 412, come on in. You're on the air.
Hi. I have a question for you, sister. This is Lisa.
Okay.
You were talking about using the smoke in the fire to settle, disputes and things of that nature when it comes to folks doing things that are illegal. And I was wondering,
doing things that are illegal. Wait a minute.
Illegal, like in the court system, stealing your story.
When I'm talking about smoke and fire, that's a metaphysical term.
I understand.
I'm not saying like using. Yeah, I'm not saying going in and firepower or gun power or somebody. Okay.
No. I understood that was a metaphysical. I understood that, but my question is this. How, if I was interested in learning different information from you about different avenues, how would I get information from you? Is it in the book, The Matrix 4, or where would I learn different information from you?
I think you should do Matrix 4 book. I really do. I think it would help you a lot.
Okay.
I'm serious.
Okay, I'll do that. I just like to learn different things. I've been working with Tarhaka, and I've learned some things from him. But I also like to learn different things from different avenues. So I'll take a look at that and purchase the book.
Yeah, because you can ask me any questions once you start reading the book. You're going to have a lot of questions, and I will answer those questions. But you will grow. I assure you. By listening to me tonight, a lot of people, they will see that I really deal in consciousness and resolving things metaphysically, esoterically.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? We don't have to use physical force. We can deflect blows and send them back to the enemy. Aikido, chi, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Redirecting the chi.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right, Lisa. All right. 801. Area code 801. You're on the air. Come on in.
Awesome. My name is Sam Smith. I was one of the people that was in the courtroom when Sophia came to Salt Lake City. I'm sorry to be so excited. Great show, by the way. I just wanted to throw that out there real quick. I'm just going to tell you, just as a third party, I was sitting there in the courtroom when this woman sat down, and the judge was sitting there, and this woman started talking, and the judge listened. And I haven't been in a lot of courtrooms. I watched Perry Mason, I watched Andy Griffith, I watched Matlock. I've seen all these different attorneys when I sat with insurance companies. I've never seen anything like this ever in life. I'm telling you, I'm excited. I'm listening to your show. I'm like, okay, I got to get on before the show ends, and I'm proud. I've met Miss Stewart. I met her, and just how you're talking to her right now, she's very true. It's exactly what she's saying to you it makes you how I'm feeling right now. That's after you talk to her and you listen to her and she tells you some of this stuff, you start to get I'm full of energy. I was tired. I worked a full 10-hour day. I'm tired. I'm listening to your show. I'm motivated. I'm excited. I'm writing down things. I just wanted to let your listeners know that this is the real deal. This is not a joke. This is not. I'm not the only one that feels this way, and I just wanted to throw that out there. I'm sorry. I know your show is about to end. I just wanted to call in and say, great show, great interview, and okay, I'm gonna stop because I'll keep talking. So
it's all right, brother. Now. If you relax a minute, you might get tell us a little more.
No, I know there's other people that want to call. I just wanted to.
Go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say that. I just wanted to say that. I just wanted to let people know that when she's explaining things to people and she's talking to you, I'm just telling you, just as somebody that has seen it firsthand. Because I watched The Matrix, I've seen Terminator, I've seen them all, and I saw Part 2 and Part 3, and I went, man, they really messed those up. the heck happened? And then I got the books. I read the books. And I was like, oh, my gosh. And I asked, I'm going to just tell you right now, I said, please, if there's a part where I could be in, I'll get killed in the credits. I don't care. I don't need to talk. I just want to say I was in the movie. Please. I'm just saying. I'm being silly, but I'm being very serious. It's a very prideful moment to know someone like this in your lifetime. I was very proud that I was able to vote for the president. It's a proud moment. Nothing like this. This is a different level. It's a totally different level. And I'm telling you, just as I said, just a member of the community. I live in Salt Lake City, Utah. There's only 9 black people here. No, I'm just kidding. There's more than 9, but maybe 12. Carl Malone left, so yeah, it's about 12. I'm just saying, there's not a lot of black people here in Utah, and when you see something like this come through your area, you have to be a part of it. It's just something, you don't have this many opportunities to be a part of something like this, and this is on a whole nother level. Now, I just want to say thank you, and I'm gonna stop because I'll keep talking, so I'm gonna stop. Thank you, sir, for allowing me to get on your call.
All right. Well, wait a minute. Before you go, with that much excitement, the least you could do to tell us your name.
Sorry about that. My name is Sam Smith.
Sam Smith.
I live in Salt Lake City, Utah. I also have a little internet radio station, and so that's why I said I was excited to hear your broadcast and everything, and then you stream it so I can listen to it later, the parts I missed, right?
I'm Tarhaka. Yeah, you can listen to Moorish Talk Live 100, and you can always go back and re-listen to it at Moorish Talk Live 100 Blog Talk Radio. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it again.
Well, I thank you for calling in, brother. Peace. Okay, Sister Sophia, we're down to the last 7 minutes. You want to give us some last words of encouragement and inspiration before we close out?
Yes, I would just like for everyone to go to my website, www.matrixterminator.com, and get your books, because one day I'm going to be at your city autographing your books, because everybody is going to find out very shortly, mainstream media, that I've won. It was an 11-year journey, and make sure you get it right. 4 years in the California case, 7 years in the Utah case, and I won without an attorney. And just less than a year in the trademark case, but I'm very sure I've won that case also. So thank you so much for having me on. If anybody else got some other radio shows and you want me to come on, I will definitely come on. Just get in touch with me, matrixterminator.com. Get my contact information, SophiaStewart10@yahoo.com, and I will be glad to let everyone know that I won the Matrix and Terminator money, and the franchises belong to me, and I am the writer of the Matrix and Terminator. Affectionately called the mother of the Matrix, but the writer.
All right, hold on. We got one more. 510. We only have a couple of minutes left. Come on in. You're on the air. 510.
Hey, what's up, man? I'm just a big fan of the Matrix, and I just wanted to say that I brought her Matrix book, and man, this shit is amazing. Like, it's a lot of things in here that is really interesting, and I don't see, like, if you're a person that likes books and good stories, man, you got to get this book. I mean, like, it's the truth. But I actually got to go to work right now. I'll see you guys later.
All right. Well, thanks for calling in, brother. Peace. All right, sister. Well, we're coming down to the close of the broadcast, Sister Stewart. And I thank you so much for being on the broadcast with us at Moorish Talk Live 100. And I'm going to request send you another request to come back again in the future. And I'm going over there to get those books, and I'm going to be down there reading because I definitely want to take a look at the Third Eye and the Terminator set and stuff. It'll take me a little while, but I'll eventually get through them, but I'm definitely going to get them. And I thank you so much for being here. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say you're welcome, and I'll come back. I love your show, and I'll come back. No problem.
All right.
And I want to
thank you for
having me.
Okay.
And good night. Good night.
Good night, dog. Okay, everybody, make sure that y'all catch me tomorrow. We'll be over there at High Frequency Radio. We'll be dealing with how to high-powered techniques in dealing with the internet and how you can do your stuff on there. You can make your money and all of that stuff. We'll give you all the nuts and bolts of wiggle pen. Make sure that you definitely have your paper and pencil handy. That's tomorrow at High Frequency Radio. That'll be 11 o'clock a.m. Pacific Time and 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on High Frequency Radio. I've been your host, Tarhaka Black. Until next time.
Hey, baby. Listen, when you needed a way, you could get my ride 'cause you were always cool. When you needed money, I set it out, even though my friends called me a fool. When you were down and needed lifting up, oh, it's always there jumping as a friend. When we discovered we needed each other, when a serious relationship began. And listen, when I love, baby, when I feel it's right, when I get my groove, oh baby, I know you feel the same. The way you're holding me tonight, when you get my love, you better be sure that you're